John O'Connor's literally, as far as my Cape Town cycling is concerned, the day one OG, like literally day one, which I'll regale now. John, thanks for coming to join us. I'm
Thank you.
thrilled to be able to tell the story. I was looking for that very shirt this morning, but I couldn't find it, which is probably a good thing because I bought it a size too small.
Should have brought you another one.
But like we were saying now, my first ever Cape Town riding experience, which for anyone who's heard me tell the story 1,000 times on this channel, it's like life-changing. That 1-year-old we were talking about, all the things that we've done that we love and are dear to us would never have happened had we not moved to Cape Town. And we would never have moved to Cape Town if we didn't cycle. And this is like this theme that runs.
Yeah.
Which I hope inspires people to get on a bike, start riding, and to move to Cape Town, because like it will do amazing things to your life that you can't imagine. And that first one, bicycle line, we shipped it to, I'm pretty sure Villy was the one that received it, and I just phoned ahead to say, hi there, like, have you guys got the bike? And I remember saying to Candice, the guy who answered the phone, his name is John. I wonder if it's the John of John O'Connor. Like, that'd be great, you know, like an owner-run store. Which as time went on, I started to appreciate fully just how owner-run it is. That's my first ever cycling experience. Straight into your store next to that wonderful settle. It was a perfect day. It was at August before the one that rained.
Yes.
I think it was kind of a COVID-y one, I'm not sure. But it wasn't. It wasn't COVID yet.
Sure.
But it was the most perfect weather day ever. Like now having lived here, it was, it has to go down as the greatest weather day in the history of August. It was just
Probably,
so damn good. And that was our first ever experience. Got the bike there, we went and did the loop up to Cycles and back, and we were just like, what an amazing place. That's my day one Cape Town cycling experience, was at John O'Connor. So
That's amazing, eh?
it's precious to have you here.
Privilege, thank you.
And that's progressed. And you were saying, I'm amazed you remember that story.
Yeah, so I remember this guy coming from Joburg. I think your bike was already at the shop, I think. Then you told us...
You lived there.
So you
ship up, down.
You told us that you were going to ride on the road to Port Elizabeth on your own.
Jeffreys Bay.
Or Jeffreys Bay. Yeah. And then you asked us, like, which route do you think I should take out of town? Jeez, well, I mean, we looked at each other and thought, is this like nuts? Riding on the road on his own to Jeffreys Bay. I think I still remember saying to you, you need to go through, or you wanted to go through Muizenberg. From Muizenberg. And I said to you, I don't know if that's a great route. And I think if I remember correctly, you caught an Uber at the start to some point, to Durbanville maybe, and then from there
I rode
from
your store, and it's I normally tell people, you need to send me that B-roll. I'm going to have to now. I rode from your store to as close as I could get to Kailish without feeling too sketchy. So all the way down that, went Muizenberg. I was going to find the ride, and I'll see exactly where it stopped, but I got an Uber XL, got in the car, went through there, and then I was like, okay, now you're on the highway. Then just down off that, I was like, okay, cool, just drop me out. Like, let me keep, but I don't want it to be like I've cheated this thing. So, no, you stopped the Garmin. But that's...
I mean, that was an adventure you took on your own.
Literally. Winged the accommodation at the end of every day.
I mean, I still ask you, do you know where you're going to stay? No, you're going to wing it as you go. It's impressive.
It was...
It's gutsy.
I refer to that as my meltdown ride internally at home and in Mikilu. It's amazing how much...
You clearly wanted a break from society, sort of.
how much of my, the transformative things that have happened in my life and how they've overlapped with your store and with you. It's actually uncanny. I haven't thought about it in quite as much detail as I am now. But that was in Mikilu, the agency we had. It was a bizarre thing. We'd had... and a sign of things to come. We'd had our best year ever. We'd achieved all our goals. I've always been money motivated. Growth, like if I achieve these things, materialism, have money, can have this, can have that, I'll be happy. That was just hardwired from young. Like you work to be successful, and if you're successful, you'll be happy. And I've never questioned it. Like throughout my 20s, it was like, that rang true mostly. Like you work hard, you make sacrifices, you will make money, life does get better, and you can have nice things. It's nice to have nice things. And up until that point, I wasn't this like super billionaire tycoon, like with everything, but I'd achieved success relative to my peers and certainly anything that I thought I was capable of. And at the end of that year, we had achieved everything we had set out to, and it was the hollowest feeling of my life. It was like it was a pivotal moment. It was just like we sat and we'd gone over it, amongst myself and my partner, and I was just like, this doesn't feel the way it's supposed to feel. Like, this feels empty. It was just like existential crisis. Like, what now? Like, I can't just live with that. I can't just park that. I have to like deal with it. And my solution was, because we had just started riding, like, just go and ride. Like, just disconnect from everything and just go ride. It's not safe enough to have done that in Joburg.
I mean, it is quite unusual.
I was on commute, and that's why I phoned you to say, like, I don't know any of these roads at all. Is it safe to go through this part where it says Khayelitsha? Like, the road looks pretty legit.
Yeah.
And no, rather don't. And then we rechecked that morning that I left from there. Also a beautiful day, but had 4 seasons in it. And that's one of the most transformative things
I mean,
I've
it is
ever
quite
done.
unusual, because we do get a lot of bike tourists come through the shop that end in Cape Town, but they ride through Africa or whatever. We seldom get a guy from Joburg on a road bike saying, listen, I want to ride to Jeffreys Bay, which is the best way there. It's like, are you
okay?
Are you okay? Do you need to talk?
It was not
I mean, what an amazing adventure, though.
not one puncture, with tubed tires, lethal tubes, which is in stark comparison to the DC I just had.
Yeah.
No, not one moment that I feel unsafe.
Yeah.
Nothing went wrong. It was one of the best trips I've ever had.
Yeah.
And got there to the point where I'm like, why aren't there more people doing this?
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd go back and do that now that I'm staying, and that was stupid.
I mean, it's amazing. Look, I mean, that's one thing that the shop has afforded me, is meeting people doing amazing things and meeting amazing people. It's amazing that through a small little bicycle shop you can meet so many people. And so many interesting people. Cycling is an amazing sport, but the amount of interesting people that have come through the doors of our shop is quite amazing.
Has the shop always, I want to get into the origin story of the shop and what you did to predate that, because you overlap with a lot of the OGs of the cycling industry, and we've sat with youngsters here, and we've also sat with a lot of guys that have been racing for many years, and many of them also comment like, it'd be good to have John O'Connor here. It's like, it will come. I'm glad it did. But has this always been there? I don't know the full backstory of where it started, but location-wise, you nailed it.
Yeah, so location, I was a block about higher than that, closer to the waterfront for the first 5 years.
Okay.
So when I opened my store in 2009, my daughter had just been born. I was previously working in a store. I'd worked in a store in the Tiger Valley area for 15 years. That store was then liquidated.
Okay.
And sort of out of desperation, I took the rest of the money that was left in our bond, and I thought, look, let me open my own store in Cape Town, because I knew that, a lot of the customers that I dealt with, being English myself, came from town.
Okay.
So I thought, look, let me leave the area where I'd been. And I moved to town, found the spot. Actually, the spot I found was close to Newport at the time. So I don't know if you know Newport.
Newport Delhi. Oh, we love that.
So Newport Delhi was where Lily's is now.
Okay.
So I knew that because we used to ride through there and stop a lot there, and I knew a lot of cyclists stopped there. So I went to that little corner and I found this empty space, stood in the rain for 20 minutes, half an hour, trying to find who the owner of the building was.
Yeah.
Found the guy across the road. He was actually the landlord. Had a meeting with him and said, I would like to open a bike shop here.
Just there and then?
Just there and then, because I saw this open space.
Yeah.
Asked a couple of the tenants around there who handles the space. They said, no, this guy in the building across here. So I went, asked for a meeting with him. He took like half an hour to see me. I said, I'd like to open a bike shop here. He said, no, he doesn't know about a bike shop. He doesn't think it will work here. Because remember, there's no retail in that area. It's only restaurants. I'm the only retail outlet there.
True.
In that whole strip from the waterfront to the lighthouse, basically.
Okay. Just because people hadn't had an appetite for...
Yeah, I think the people hadn't had an appetite. So I gave him my details. I went away. And then he called me and said, okay, well, let's have another meeting. So I went back to see him, and he said to me, okay, well, let's give it a go, I brought another client there who was quite a successful business guy. I said to him, what do you think? I want to open a store. He said, you won't last 3 months here. Don't do it. So I went home to my wife and said to her, look, I don't know, but I've got a good feeling about this space. He said, well, let's do it. So we did it, and then started
All
the
in.
shop
That's
there,
it.
all in, everything we had. I didn't have a job, obviously. My wife had quite a good business at the time. Took the money that was left in our bonds, started the shop, and then that was it. And then 5 years, I spent 5 years there, needed a bit more space, needed parking. And a client of mine owned the commercial space where I am now, the entire bottom floor, which was a health spa at the time.
Okay.
And then I said to him, look, have you got space open? My lease is coming to an end. He said, come and we'll make space for you there. And that was it. So I've been there now. I mean, the shop's been in that area for 17 years now.
Wouldn't last 3 months.
Wouldn't last 3 months, sure. Well, no one gave me much time there. I mean, a lot of the guys, because there's no retail there. So...
And I mean, still there isn't much retail.
There's no retail. There's still no retail.
It's bizarre. Now, I've never thought...
Yeah, so it's all... I mean, where Seattle is now, there were a couple of restaurants there that didn't work because the space was a strange space. The acoustics was weird. It was right on the front. I mean, I wanted that...
I can't imagine anything other.
Yeah, so I wanted that frontal space to be on the main road there, but it was too expensive. I couldn't afford it. And... the restaurant came and restaurant went, and there were like 3 iterations of the same owners tried to create different restaurants there. And then not working. So then I thought, well, a coffee place will work there. So I approached some of the main coffee guys who I know most of them. They all turned it down, and then I went to Barry at Seattle and said, look...
What do you mean they turned it down?
I think
like,
the space...
that I've seen.
Yeah, the space was... I wanted a coffee place there because I never had place for coffee in my store, but I knew that a coffee place would bring feet to me.
Very complimentary, yeah.
So I approached these guys, and only Barry said to me, he'll consider it, put him in touch with the landlord, and Seattle's been there now.
So how long have they been there?
They must be there now about 4 years, 5 years.
Okay. As long as I've been coming there.
Yeah, so I think it's one of their busiest Seattles, actually.
I can't imagine anything
place,
failing there.
Yeah.
It's never
they did quite a clever thing is where they brought the shop front back and they created this deck, which it's called the deck.
Yeah.
So it's extremely successful, Seattle, for them.
Did they give you your royalties for the suggestion?
I should have negotiated a fee there, but I mistakenly didn't.
Yeah, but it must be good for...
No, it's great for business. I mean, it's given us a lot of more feet and more people know that we're there.
Okay.
So it's a nice space because it's close to the sea. It's along the Atlantic seaboard route. There's good parking there. You don't have to pay for parking. Yeah. It's never really congested, although on weekends it is a bit busy there.
Increasingly so.
Increasingly so with events and, the Cape Town Stadium being there. But I mean, I still wouldn't change that space for anything.
We've got so many good memories there. That Greenpoint Park is also just...
it's a great park.
Mind-boggling.
Even the promenade, I mean, the Sea Point Promenade must be one of the top promenades in the world. I mean, it must...
It's pretty underutilized, actually. Look at the volume of people there.
Volume of people and just the beauty of it.
Yeah.
When the wind's not blowing.
Which isn't
often.
That often, yeah.
But it's pristine.
I love it. And that's crazy to think. You look at it now, and it's like Nails location, parking, Greenpoint Park. There's coffee there, and it just goes to show. When you can't see it, it doesn't mean it isn't there.
Yeah, we do struggle a little bit with visibility, but I think more and more people know we're there now. Whether we're a destination store or not, I'm not sure, but it is a nice place to be, even just to go to work. You're right, you can step out the door and see the sea.
Yeah.
You can see the boats coming in, but and it's right on the bike route, so it is a really nice place to be.
Absolutely perfect. You stay close to there?
Yeah, I stay in Tamboerskloof, so it's halfway up to the cable car.
Do you cycle or drive? I see the caddy there often. I assume that's...
Yeah, I drive. Sometimes I ride in, but mainly I drive.
The caddy is obviously a functional vehicle in the business. So
Yeah, the caddy's gone now. That thing unfortunately died due to overuse. But
what did you replace the caddy with?
no, just with a normal Ford bucky.
Oh, no, man. I won't see the caddy there anymore.
No, the caddy's gone now.
I see, that thing was like it should have become like a relic part of the store.
No, that thing unfortunately died.
Okay, so you start the bike store off the back of working in one.
Yeah.
As a mechanic, as a sales manager.
I was in sales.
Okay.
So in 96 I moved, or 95 I moved down to Cape Town from Johannesburg with quite a well-known cyclist, or probably still a well-known cyclist, Willie Engelbrecht. Mm-hmm. And then he opened a store and I was with him, and we ran the store in Tiger Valley, which was quite an iconic store, which was then closed, and then he did his thing and I went and did my thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I spent 15 years there in the northern suburbs.
Okay, so you were in the
So I've been in the
ops
bike
of the business and the sales of
retail now
like
for 30 years now.
Okay.
This is my 30th year in retail.
I mean, you've seen it all.
I think
30 years ago, what was your top end bike? What was trending?
When we started, I mean, there was no mountain bikes. Okay. So mountain biking didn't exist. It was mainly road biking. And I mean, we both had come from a road bike background, having raced on the road mainly. And we experienced the boom of cycling in the country when mountain biking came in. Cycling was a very seasonal thing, because in the winter people basically didn't ride, and in summer they all rode road bikes. So in those days, I mean, in winter you literally did no business.
Yeah.
Then it obviously changed with mountain biking coming in, and mountain biking grew the sport massively. Then you had events starting like the Cape Epic, and the whole sport just evolved like month after month, year after year. It was just growing and growing.
Never heard anyone mention that, like how much it. And when you say grew it in terms of people that would otherwise never have cycled when not cycling.
People wouldn't.
And just the scale.
It was just people were getting into cycling. I mean, buying mountain bikes and just starting. It was. I remember on a Saturday morning looking on the shop floor and just thinking, how the heck are we going to help all these people? We would sell we were probably like 5 salesmen then. We would each sell 4 or 5 bikes on a Saturday morning.
Wow.
But are you talking now in those days bikes were like a basic mountain bike would either come with a front suspension or not. There were 2 models, like in the Giant range. Giant was massive then, and then the bikes were like 1,900 Rand a bike.
Relative to
which
what
I
people
suppose
earned, was that still?
I suppose in those days it was still affordable. It wasn't over the top, but it wasn't super cheap, but it was affordable. I mean, you used to sell loads of bikes then.
Okay.
Now
What
bike
was a car then? What was a cheap car? What was a City Golf?
The City Golf probably must have been about 100 grand, maybe under that.
Okay.
80 or 90 grand, I would imagine.
Okay.
So, we definitely experienced the boom of cycling. Then the 29er wheel came out. So everything was 26 inch. Then the 29er wheel came out, and that just exploded mountain biking. And then all the events started, like Cape Epic, Wine to Wales, and then the sport just grew and grew and grew to what it is now. I mean, if I think back to when I started cycling, when I cycled, it had to be your sport. There were no recreational cyclists.
That's bizarre.
So there was no fun rider category outside of racing.
No Savage Tuesday.
No, there was nothing like that. So, I mean, we were like a bunch of cyclists that rode on the national circuit. We were maybe 50 max guys that went around the country racing, like Report Tour, Handsome Tour, all those races.
Can you list some of your rivals, just quickly to frame it for people?
Oh, I mean, guys I rode with, like Malcolm Lange, for example. We rode in the same team. He was young then. I mean, he was 18. He was a super talented youngster. I mean, we rode like with Willie Engelbrecht, Mark Bierneke, Gary Bierneke, Stephen Walleter, Alan Walleter, Robbie McIntosh, Alan van Heerden. All those guys were in the circuit then. And then we were like young guys coming in. I mean, they were in their 20s then, late 20s or middle 20s, and we were I started riding when I only really started when I left school. So I was 18, 19. And then that was the circuit. It was bizarre because you would, you would ride a report tour, and the racing would go live on TV. So on a Saturday, they would come to you in the bunch and say, okay, in 10 minutes, it's going live on TV, And at the finishes, there would be thousands of people, in the it's totally different to what it is now.
What drew them there? Just because there was nothing else really going on? Or
I don't know, because, I suppose there was no social media then. If you wanted to go and watch sport, you had to go to the venue.
Yeah.
Like track cycling at Hector Norris on a Sunday afternoon, there were thousands of spectators there.
I hear that story often. When last did you see Hector Norris?
I haven't been there for years.
It'll break your heart.
I'm sure. Yeah. But so the sport was totally different then. You were either a serious cyclist or you were a spectator in a way. So I suppose the sport had these big figures then and big personalities, whereas now so many people ride that everyone's worried about their own riding. No one really knows who the top guys are in a way. So the sport, we used to drive down to Cape Town to race, and we'd stop in Beaufort West, and the young black kids there would ask you for stuff and would say, here's a bag of apples, name 4 pro cyclists. And they would rattle them off: Erkis Poseidono, Alan Vineyard, and Robbie Mack. And,
that's proper national.
Yeah, so people knew them, if you had to do the same today, I don't think you'd get the same reaction.
Maybe with beers.
Yeah, I think with Matt, you would. Matt is a standout.
Yeah. And then obviously you have you're outside of your niche.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yeah, so the sport has changed.
And even within your niche, ask people what COTIS is.
Yeah,
so I've asked on this thing, do you know what COTIS is?
So the sport has changed dramatically for the good, obviously. Then the sport was small. If you think of 50 guys going around the country racing, whether you were in the national team or you're in a sponsored amateur team or in a pro team.
I can't imagine people not recreationally cycling. Was a bike that cuck to ride then? Was there were there no roads?
I don't know. The roads were there, and there was less traffic. Yeah. We used to train on on-deckers. I don't even think you can ride on that road anymore now. It's too busy. We used to meet the top of Allen's Neck every morning at, I can't remember the time, I think it was 7 o'clock. There used to be a group of 20, 30 guys that used to ride out to out north of Krugersdorp there. So
probably weren't being hooted at.
No, you weren't being hooted at 2 abreast, no problem.
Yes, that's crazy.
That's changed. There weren't a lot of. We used to shave our legs, and guys used to look at you weird.
Yeah.
Why do you shave your legs? Whereas now everyone.
Why do we shave our legs?
Everyone shaves their legs now, even guys that go to gym.
Yeah. What was the original theory behind shaving your legs back then? I remember a kid telling me that it had something to do with if you crash, it gets in the way, and I was like, no, bro, that sounds like crap.
I suppose if you crash, hair on your leg, they say that it could infect the wound.
Yeah, and that was his claim. I was like,
but I think the biggest thing is it was just a trend, but also they say for massage, it's easy to massage legs without hair for the masseurs. So I think that's an old tradition that came, but it was sort of done. Well, ever since cycling's been around, so it was a trend in cycling. But that trend then moved to other.
Then cycling, you must have got proper.
No, you're walking around the shopping centre, and guys would notice you. You don't have hair on your legs. But obviously now that's not a thing.
Yeah, crazy. You really have seen it all change, haven't you?
We've been.
And things like women and cycling
shows my age.
Zero,
I suppose.
Nothing.
There were women. There were some good women cyclists then, but they were few and far between. If I think now, especially in the last, I would say even 2 or 3 years, how many more women are riding now?
No, there's proper attraction.
We're even very, very conscious in the shop of engaging with women and creating a space for them where they're comfortable to shop. And it is quite a challenge because I think for women, the bike store is quite an intimidating space. It's a male-dominated space. Cycling is quite a male-dominated ego sport. So for women to come in, it is quite intimidating. So we're really focusing on women, doing evenings for them, teaching them about the technical side, how to change a tube, and offering them free bike washes on a Monday. really trying to get
Tell me
women into the
just
store.
take my bike on a Monday.
The size might give it away.
Why are all these women rocking up with 2 bikes?
Exactly, free bike wash.
That's amazing. The other side of it you mentioned, you didn't really allude to it, but I was saying to Belaise this morning, actually, just like, we don't have this like major relationship of conversation, but leading into the DC, we were talking about a few things. I just wanted to ask him, like, sort of, how was the event afterwards, just out of interest? Because a lot of the anecdotal data we had before is it's one of the very few events that's growing, and has this real vibe associated with it. That, I mean, go and tell me another race that carries the same vibe as it.
There is no race like that.
And you try and like dissect like why. Anyway, one of the things that he mentioned, that it's another growing trend, is that it is becoming, the demographic is changing. There's a black middle class that historically hasn't necessarily gravitated towards it for whatever the reasons are, and it was like standout. You could see it was a definitive shift, and it's like that's. And females, like huge female teams,
huge.
Just
mixed
teams,
teams,
never mind,
females,
mixed, and also just, and it's. I think a few of us share this, for whatever reason, this desire just to make cycling bigger and more inclusive. It's get people that aren't riding to ride. It's kind of the thing. Like there's not necessarily a retail link to it, but it's just more people should ride because it's just so flipping good for you.
And I mean, the DC is a standout event.
That's a big way to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, kudos to Dave Belaise and them. If they never changed the way that event was run, I think that event would have died. I mean, if I think back, I mean, this was my 22nd double century. But
really are giving that age away.
When I think back to the first few, I mean, they were brutal. It was a brutal race. We never had stops.
Yeah.
So
where did you start?
So I mean, there's been a few, but the first few started in Franschhoek area at the Victor Verster prison.
Sure.
And some of them went out over Franschhoek Pass to the N2 and back. Some did a loop, or the very first one went from Franschhoek to Worcester. You had lunch in Worcester and rode back.
Yeah, lunch.
So you had to stop there and have lunch. Then
that's always had a little quirk.
So then, and it wasn't timed. It was just a ride with 12 guys. And then it became timed, and then it went from Victor Verster over Helswerchter into Somerset West, Kleinmond, back over the back of Franschhoek Pass to finish there. Then eventually it moved out to the route that it is now, but it started and finished in Montague. So you would come over Opta Todau and straight down into Montague to finish. But then obviously the race grew. Montague became too small, so they moved the start and finish to Swellendam. But there were no stops. So you had to, first we used to feed from a moving vehicle, support vehicle at the back. So one guy would go back and fetch bottles. But then when you were down to 6, you were down to 6.
Yeah.
So you had to the tactics were totally different. And then they stopped the moving vehicles. Then you would feed from Musette's basically on the side of the road, and it went straight through. Bonnievale. They didn't do that loop around that we do now. It went straight through the town, and you used to grab a musette from your supporters' wives, girlfriends as you were exiting. But by then you were 6 guys. So the route it was really tough. And if they hadn't introduced these 2 half-hour stops and the way they've done the route now, I don't think the race would be here now.
Yeah,
so it's made
very like purist.
Yeah, to be too difficult to do. It only been serious guys there, and now it's a social event. It's opened it up to everyone. I mean,
with good racing.
So it's married the two, and the tactics are totally different. To win the race now, the tactics are totally different to what it was then.
Yeah. And
the times are much quicker. I mean, in those days you would win the DC with a 5 hours 20 time.
Yeah, guys were going under 4:40. Road Warriors, I think.
Now it's 4:30. I think.
Yeah,
I think the winning time on the weekend was 4:30,
and that was in that terrible
weather
conditions. Yeah, there was a big tailwind. Many people are telling me, but yeah, that was.
I don't think there was no tailwind. Not this year.
There was
not much.
There was at a point. I distinctly remember it because I was on my own for the entirety of the race.
But the meat of the race at the end was tough this year.
Hellish. The worst.
Probably of the
couple
most
of years.
difficult conditions.
Yeah. I think a lot of that has to do with how intentional they are. Having recently started to engage with him, it's actually unbelievable how much time, effort, and conscious thought they don't put into bean counting. It's how do we make this better, inclusive, not bigger, not more profitable, not the buzzwords 99.9% of every other event is led by. It's inclusive, bigger. How do I make, you said 3,000 people happy? It's not about the 50 oaks, I think.
But I mean, it's a super successful event. I mean, it's a standout event for the type of event. And I mean, it generates such a lot of gees in the cycle industry. I mean, and people love it. I mean, this whole week has just been people in the shop and war stories about the DC. And, you know, it's really a fantastic event.
What's your favorite
event?
Yeah. You only can do, you can do one road race and one mountain bike race. And that's it.
I think,
what you're doing.
You know, road race is...
All right, doesn't have to be a race.
Well, I mean, I think the DC, because of what it is, the camaraderie, the whole weekend, I think that's probably a standout event. I think the Cape Town Cycle Tour is still a standout event. You know, to ride around the peninsula on closed roads. I mean, you can't beat it.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, and also what it does for Cape Town and the amount of people it brings to Cape Town. It is a special event.
Yeah.
So I think the cycle tour. Mountain bike event, I mean, in South Africa, I suppose the Cape Epic is still a standout event, but I think like an event like Wine to Wales is really a great event. It's not too extreme. It's short enough to enjoy it. And I think it's an extremely well-run event. I think that's probably the go-to event as a mountain biker.
Have you raced it, or do you just go and do it for...
No, I've raced it and done it socially with clients.
Every time I've asked about your cycle tour, the last couple, you've done it on a tandem with your daughter.
Yeah.
The last how many?
So the last 4 I've done with my daughter on a tandem, or 5 now, I think. This would be our 6th one if we do it now. Before that, I've obviously always raced it. In the elites.
That's my reference point for how long I've been been cycling. So when I came down, you'd done it with your daughter, and since then.
So since then, I've been doing it with her, which was the first one I did with her was she was 11. Cool. I mean, it's great. I mean, if you get the chance to do it, it's fantastic.
I'm a very panicked parent around Gabrielle. I see a step and I panic. She's been doing swimming training now that put her under the water.
That's quite scary.
That's a panic attack. I can't handle it. Fortunately, every time she's come out with this biggest smile on her face, thank the Lord. But I don't know, tandem. You and her have come past me before in a cycle tour. It had to have been you. It couldn't have been anyone else. On the descent of Chappies. And I was like, there's not a chance. I couldn't even do that with my daughter.
No, you'll be surprised. I mean, my wife, my wife has never worried about me going to the cycle tour. You know, I'd wake up in the morning, okay, I'll see you guys at the finish. And right now, my wife is in the car behind us to the start. Basically, as close as she can get to the start, just because my daughter's with us and she reads me the riot act about hospital bend. Just please don't fall with her. You know, it is always at hospital. It is a hell of a responsibility, but obviously being a cyclist, I'm confident in my own skill.
Of course.
So, and I know not to take risks with her. You know, I'll tell her afterwards, you know, how fast do you think we went? What was the... She said, I don't know, what do you think it was? I said, no, we did hit 90 going down Hospital Bend. But, you know, on a tandem, the perceived speed is not as high. And it does take a bit of getting used to, but the biggest thing with a tandem is riding with single guys in a bunch, because then it becomes a bit tricky. So
you don't have the nimbleness they do necessarily.
Yeah, you don't have the reaction speed that they do, and if there's a crash, you can't react as quickly. So in the bunches, I just sit near the back. You know, we normally ride with a racing tandem, so you try and stay with them as long as possible, and then you surf the bunches, you know, until you get to the finish.
But she loves it.
She loves it. It's more about
from the start, first one, like
loved it. Absolutely loved it.
How much pedaling is she actually doing?
She doesn't do a lot. We only do but I'm going to try and do a bit more with her now. I wanted to get into cycling, but I feel safe if she's with me on a tandem. Her on her own bike, I don't know.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not
your daughter. No,
not in the cycle tour, even on the roads now. You know, she wants to ride, but I'm a bit.
She wants to.
She's 17 now, or 16 now. But I mean, I'm nervous of the traffic. You know.
There's a group. I talk about them almost every episode of the Southside Cycles. They're a predominantly female. I mean, there are guys in the group, but it started, group of ladies up the road, get together. They leave from there's a Boomden estate, and so they were meeting together there and going out to take a drive together. And early days, first just starting to cycle. That group is massive now. Actually, I think they got a Charles Milner medal at DC this weekend. Oh, first one as a team. Amazing, they have just blown up, and this is, their clubhouse. This is home to them. Not exclusively, they go and have coffee at other places and stuff as well, but this is let this be your home. If you ever need a venue to do things from, it's yours. And you see the young females getting involved. It's just the most inspiring thing.
No, it is. And I mean, there are a lot of.
If you want to get her in,
now's the time.
Yeah. If I was 17-year-old, Courtney was to get on a bike, and she's like, Dad, I'm going to go and ride with Southside on a Friday. I'd have zero concern.
Yeah, it's great.
It'll be fine. How good they've done it, and it's in months. This isn't some legacy crew that's been together for years. This is in months what they've achieved. So if your daughter watches this,
she will
come to the Active Hobo on a Friday morning at 5:15, wangle a bike out of your dad's store,
and come and
ride with Southside Cycles, and you won't have to worry about a thing. Bit of a drive, but
That's
about
good
it.
to know.
Before I want to get into trends that you've seen. Actually, I suppose let's finish shop talk, and then we can go to just some of the actual John upbringing, Joburg. What did you do? How did you land up in that industry type stuff? Would you suggest someone get into it still? Those sorts of things. But in terms of, you mentioned bikes, mountain bikes didn't exist then. That was transformative, certainly, and abroad. But you will have seen a lot more than that. You've seen the rim disc era. You've seen electronic. You've seen, carbon.
Aluminium, steel, aluminium,
the whole
carbon,
palaver. What would you say are some of the, other than the mountain bike, some of the big, notable moments in time that cycling really changed?
Well, I think the mountain bike has been the biggest. I think introduction into cycling. Because it was a road bike dominated sport for a long time. So mountain biking definitely changed the sport and brought more people into the sport. But I think the most significant change was the 29er wheel. When that came out, that just revolutionized cycling. And it just created such a selling opportunity for the bike industry. So that was massive.
And you're just talking for anyone that doesn't know what the 29 is. Do you want to just
so the 29er wheel, it's basically, because all mountain bikes came out with 26-inch wheels, which is a small diameter. Whereas the road bike wheel, which is essentially a 29-inch diameter, so they copied the size of the road bike wheel but made it into a mountain bike. So it brought whole new mountain bikes out. It just changed the sport overnight. And it brought all the existing people that were on 26s brought 29ers, and it brought new people into the sport. So that was a massive, notable shift in the industry. Then more subtle shifts have been obviously the disc brake. That has been a massive change. But that came out of mountain biking. A lot of the technology to road has come from mountain biking, and then electronic gearing now. And bikes are evolving all the time. The carbon, you went from steel to aluminium to carbon. Then there's different types of carbon, and now it's limited edition bikes, and it's, it's just going. But there's definitely been a resurgence in road riding. I speak for Cape Town and my small little business, but road biking has taken a big upswing now again. Well, there may be a few reasons for that, but mountain biking seems to be a little bit stagnating at the moment. But road riding and gravel, obviously. Gravel is the next big thing.
Yeah.
You know, I had the privilege of riding GravelBurn recently, which was, I think I'm still trying to recover from it. Jeez, it was...
Emotionally or physically?
I think both. Emotionally and physically, you know, it was a super tough event.
Yeah, I believe so.
But I mean, you know, that gravel biking is going to grow. I mean, I think that's the next big thing in the cycle industry, because guys looking for the one bike will look at a gravel bike now, because they can go off-road, on-road, and also get away from traffic and experience the outdoors, not necessarily have to have a technical bike like a mountain bike.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are uninclined maybe to do technical riding like single track. So the gravel bike ticks that box. So the gravel biking, and obviously with events like GravelBurn and all these events that will morph out of GravelBurn, I think the gravel biking is the next 29er wheel for the bike industry.
It's you wouldn't say it's necessarily new anymore. It's a couple years old.
Yeah, but it's really going to
feel like
I think
it's now biting.
It's now biting, and it's now going to see a massive...
We've done... I think defining what it is cyclists are weird. They're extremely dogmatic about things that don't matter.
Yeah.
Rim brake is better, disc brake is better. Like, how's that an argument? Whatever you prefer is absolutely fine. But people, they'll go down like fighting over a braking mechanism.
Well, especially if you've got a rim brake bike still, you still believe that it's better.
I love the modulation on my rim brake bike. I absolutely love it, but I also enjoy my disc. I don't think one's necessary. In the rain, obviously, there's a clear-cut difference, but like, you just pick silly things to go on about. And now the same thing with gravel. People are seeing... I saw that Trek checkout recently. Someone from Southside bought one dual suspension gravel bike, and I was like, it's not a gravel bike. I'm like, oh, here we go again. It's people come up with their own versions of what it is or what it isn't. But I think what is being defined is like, what is gravel riding? So what I'm seeing are a lot of people on gravel bikes on the road, because there's the perception of it's safer, it's wider tire, and it's like, if I wanted to go off-road, I can. I've almost never seen anyone going off-road, but this is the trend. It is, if you are going to buy one bike, that is by all means the smartest. But we, in the spirit of that trip I originally did from your store, we went to George, flew to George, pulled the bikes in the airport, put them in a box. You literally ride out from where the carousels are, all the way back to Cape Town. Different points. We've come back to Stellies and back over Baines, and we've finished there. That's what people need to be exposed, in my opinion, of what gravel is. It cost, nutrition, accommodation, food. We ate well, dinners.
Like that bikepacking, you just put your stuff on your bike.
You sleep in accommodation.
Yeah, but you carry everything with you.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's not crazy. Like, if you want to be Dean Hoff and have 3 different color-coded outfits every day, okay, it's more complex, and you have to pack more and be more strategic. I had a bib shorts, underwear, shirt, whatever, one outfit, which catches you when you have the weather shifts that we do here. But on the whole, you're fine. You wash it when you get there in the evening, use it the next day. Like you're not going to find true love on that trip because you smell or look great, but it's absolutely hygienic. And what we, having done that now twice, what we've experienced out there, I can't compare to anything I've done on a bicycle. And that's what I worry is people, like, thank God for GravelBurn, because they do things at a scale that brings people here and sees layers of South Africa that otherwise they would never. And like you said, there'll be this proliferation of other events that'll pop up as a result of it. But I'd hate for South Africans to think that's gravel. I think the essence of gravel is exactly that. I mean, going with your mates flying to George, getting on your bike, riding up Montague Pass, and then going to Oudtshoorn and Caledon, Prince Albert. I mean, the network of gravel roads in Cape Town
or in the Cape is immense.
Unbelievable.
And it is, I mean,
it's so safe.
Until you've done it, like you have, I've also done a trip like that, it is really amazing. And that is the essence of cycling, I suppose. You know, for people to experience that type of riding to your accommodation, you know, sleeping in a nice place, having a local dinner, then getting on your bike the next day and riding to the next town. I mean, that is amazing.
Yeah, there's nothing, I can't.
And I think it's, you know, it's so easy to do.
That's the thing.
You know, with a couple of mates.
The craziest thing.
It's brilliant.
You just got to have 5 days leave.
Yeah.
Gravel bike. I mean, we had, touch wood, because I've now got this black cloud following me of bad luck. No punctures.
Yeah.
We had, you know, with this UDH thing now, and even if the bike falls over, like there's no broken hangers. Like that is the biggest concern would be a hanger.
Yeah.
And it's just, my wife's bought a gravel bike now.
Well, I mean, just the people you meet along the way. You know, you stop at a farm store.
Brewery on the
that brewery when you go between on the way to Oudtshoorn.
Yeah.
There's that brewery there. You stop there.
It's random.
Oh no, it's in the middle of nowhere.
It's got all that weird stuff in there.
It's the middle of nowhere, and the guy's giving you homemade beer there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brilliant.
It'd be interesting to get his story. So I'm glad you stopped there.
Yeah.
And the craziest part of all of it is it's free.
Yeah.
It costs you
nothing.
Nothing. I mean, the flight and obviously where you stay, but it's, I hope more people tap into that. And we downloaded Strava files and sent it to our Garments.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Makkelijk. GravelBurn, what did you, the one, Aaron Borrell, you asked him afterwards, he's like, give me a day or two to digest before I answer the question. And now that he gave us his views on, should that route be tamed down at all? Do you think, would your advice to them be change nothing, or listen, there's a kind of way to do this, like gravel bikes aren't intended for this?
Look,
those are the two polarizing views that we've had.
It's a difficult question to answer, because I think being the inaugural event, you know, a lot of us have done multiple epics. So in your mind, when you think of a difficult stage race, the epic pops up and that is your go-to. This, I think, was uncharted territory. So for me, it was more difficult than what I expected. I think the terrain was challenging. And being a gravel bike race, you sort of didn't really know what to expect. It's a mix between a road race and a mountain bike race. So there's a lot of road racing type of, I wouldn't call it tactics, but road race riding with mountain bike skill needed. So you could clearly see the guys that are good at both did well. And the pure mountain bikers who weren't used to road riding maybe suffered a bit. So there was a big overlap, which was quite interesting.
I mean, that's exciting.
It's exciting, and it's, you know, it was really an exciting race. I think the format, you know, being 7 days for the normal amateur is quite long.
It's big.
It's big. I mean, a 7-day race like that on that terrain is challenging. You know, but now that people have done it, I think you know what to expect. You know, you need to be physically strong. You know, you need as much off the bike training as you do on the bike training. You know,
gravel bike conditioning.
Yeah, it's brutal. And I mean, the weather was challenging as well. But I mean, we didn't really have heat like we could have had.
Yeah.
We had rain and wind, and that was hectic. Initially I thought, well, it's too hard. You know, guys are not going to come back. But I think people aspire to do difficult events. So I think guys
said the same thing.
I think guys will come to this event because it'll get a reputation of being a super tough event. And I think people like to challenge themselves. You know? So I think that'll be the draw card there.
What was your bike setup going into that race?
So I was invited by Pinarello to do it. So I rode a Pinarello Dogma GR.
Oh, it's beautiful, though.
Beautiful bike, but I think if I had to do it again, I wouldn't choose that bike.
But racy.
Bit racy, you know.
Tires?
For a guy like Pitcock was fine, but not for a guy like myself. I mean, the maximum I could run on that bike were 45s, which were too narrow. I actually started with a 40 on the back because the limit on the back was a 42 per the spec of the bike. So the first 2 days I rode a 45 on the front and a 40 on the back. But I happened to be in the tent next to the guy who designed the bike from Pinarelli. He said to me, just put 45s on the bike and take it, do it. So I went to the mechanics. I said to Craig boys, just please put a 45 on, you know. And that made a big difference. And I also ran liners in, which helped me run a little bit lower pressure, which saved the wheels, in fact, because a lot of guys were having massive wheel failures. And that saved me. So, but I also rode a bit cautiously because I didn't want to damage the bike. But going forward, I definitely look for a bike with wider tire clearance. I think a lot of the guys are riding 2.1s, which was, I think, the sweet spot for a tire for that event. But that will be a standout event for gravel biking. I don't think
this is one of the.
I don't think you're not going to buy a gravel bike for that event. That's going to have its own type of bike and tire setup. A normal like race to the sea or that you can do on a normal gravel bike.
You can do on 40s, you can do it on
that's fine, you know. But I think the brutality of the course and the amount of consecutive days was extremely
warrants
challenging.
as much comfort as you can squeeze between those forks.
Yeah. And I mean, also you're camping as well. So, you know, it's not like we're all used to camping.
Yeah.
We don't really spend much time in a tent. So
I avoid it like the plague.
Yeah, so sleep was challenging. You know, so it's compounds, everything compounds, you know.
Well done on achieving that.
So
I mean,
I'm glad I got
up
through
there.
it. It was up there. It's probably the toughest event I've ever done. And I've done multiple epics and Swiss Epic and
you've been around
Croatia, and I've done report tours, and I've done a lot of events, but I think that was the toughest event I've ever done.
And I think that's the slogan that they.
Yeah. I think that's what they want, you know. I don't think they want it to be an easy event.
Epic out of them. It's this isn't your champagne gravel event. Go fast on last gravel.
There was no champagne gravel apart from the last day. I think the last day going into Shamwari, there was some really amazing gravel, you know.
Yeah, and that's why I hope South Africa. There aren't enough South Africans, and I say South Africans, it's not Cape Townians. Like the Vardies need to get to the Cape, go to George, and they need to go and do these things because it's so good.
It's amazing.
It's the most amazing thing you'll do.
No, without doubt.
And I don't think there's too many people. It's a difficult thing to make any money out of, so it's difficult for anyone to go and do it. Facilitate that for people to make it easy properly. Nick White does some really cool gravel tours, those pop-up gravel trips that he does. But like other than him, there's no one really like properly catering it.
No, not really. And I think it's tricky because you don't want a group of 20 guys doing it. It becomes logistically difficult. You want a group of mates, 5 to 10, 8 mates.
And people you can get on with for 7 days.
People you get on with. So I think it's like a buddy thing, you know. You get 3 mates, 4 mates together and you go and do it. But it is definitely a bucket list thing to do. Maybe more so than a lot of these events.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's like going to Europe. I mean, I've got the privilege of, I go to Europe every year. I've got a friend who owns a touring company and he flies me out to help him as a ride leader and a mechanic. So I go every year and do these trips with him.
Awesome.
I mean, I've ridden in some amazing places, you know, the Dolomites, the Alps, the Pyrenees, the Maritime Gorges in France, you know. Yes, I mean, just to do that on a bike, besides doing events, which is amazing, but that bike touring, whether it's on the road or on gravel, that's the best part of cycling.
Couldn't agree more.
You know, that is where cycling, that is where people fall in love with riding. You know, on these tours, you get guys, all middle-aged guys, they haven't been competitive, you know, they've got successful businesses or whatever, but that for them is cycling.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. You know, that's
spending
a very
10
good point.
days in the Dolomites, riding those mythical climbs, you know, doing all those big climbs.
Any standout favourites for you there? Some people might know.
Yeah, I mean, Alpe d'Huez,
man, that's bucket list.
Yeah, the Stelvio.
Did you do it in under an hour?
No.
Alpe d'Huez. Did you try?
I don't think I tried really, but I don't know if I could do it. I mean, the Stelvio, the Stelvio's got 3 sides to it.
Yeah.
So on one of the trips, we took a few of the clients that wanted to do it, and we did all 3 sides in one ride.
How much elevation is that?
It's like a 4,600 meter elevation day with 130 kilometers.
That's huge.
That's massive. So that took us like 9 hours. Then I've done Ventoux as well.
Okay.
The Singles du Ventoux, which we did on a trip as well, where you actually get a card stamped and your name goes into the Singles du Ventoux. So all 3 sides in one ride as well. So those are epic things to do.
Yeah.
Like the Tourmalet, Aspen, Tourmalet, Alpe d'Huez, Galibier, all those climbs.
Done all of them?
Done all of them.
Mad.
The Zoncolan, that's a beast of a climb.
You got pictures of all of these, I hope, that you can send us for
I buy those every time I do a climb, I buy those little stones that you can buy. There's a little stone which gives the altitude and the climb. So every time I do one of those climbs, I buy the little roadside stone that demarks the climb,
Okay.
So I collect those things, but I mean...
And having done all that riding in what is arguably the most iconic place to cycle in the world, how does this wonderful province stack up in this country?
Look, it's hard to beat Cape Town, I must be honest. That Atlantic seaboard ride from the city to Noordhoek and back is probably of the most beautiful routes you can do in the world. And I think any foreigner who's ridden a lot in Europe comes here will tell you the same thing. I mean, when you're coming up Chapman's Peak from the Noordhoek side, I mean, there is no more beautiful piece of road that I've ridden in the world. And I haven't ridden everywhere, but I've ridden in a few places. There's nothing that beats that view when you come around the bottom and you just see Chapman's Peak in front of you. That is of the most amazing pieces of road in the world.
Yeah. I'd like to have the tar of Baines on there. That would be nice.
Jeez, I mean, Baines Kloof must be the best road, definitely in South Africa.
That road is...
Or in the world. I mean, what they did with that piece of road.
I never knew it before.
Yeah, so we raced over there when we rode it once in the report tour, I think coming from Tilbach over, down into Baines Kloof, down into Wellington. It was probably one of the most dangerous descents in the world. I mean, I clearly...
Like potholed or?
No, it was just rough, not pothole, but uneven tar. I still remember coming over it the one year we came into the first corner and a guide, Leon Olivier, he slid out and he slid off the edge and down the edge of the cliff.
My word.
I mean, it was just the conditions were so bad of that road. It was so rough and rutted and slippery. And I mean, that's still a vision. I can't get, there's things you see in your life and you just, you can just see it again, It was a terrible descent. You couldn't have, but now it's the most
magnificent,
perfect piece of road.
It'd be nice to see that around Cape Point. That just get that bend there.
If they could do that for the cycle tour, like create that type of tar, like they have done in Simonstown. Now, when you come into Simonstown, they fixed up but if they could do that all the way around to Smitswinkel, it would be amazing.
Alan will tell you the priorities the mobility team has to contend with.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Don't rank our cyclists too high up there, but we looked after it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Some places need tar, full stop, but let alone retard.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
that would be... as far as the shop goes, there's no interest in moving ever from there, like you said. What are the expectations over the next couple of years? Keep doing what you're doing? Is there...
Yeah, I think keep doing
stuff in the horizon.
I think keep doing what I'm doing. There's always a temptation to scale your business. I think it's a desire to scale your business, but it is pretty difficult in the bike industry, especially when your name is outside the door, mistakenly there or not. I've put it there for other reasons when I opened, but it's difficult to create more of that with you not being there.
Yeah.
So for now I will stay where I am. I'd like to grow the space, but not more stores. And
industry as a whole, I mean, we were talking just briefly downstairs. What's your read on where it is and what to expect in the years ahead? I mean, there's
Look, I think
a lot of doom and gloom, and there's a lot of optimism.
Yeah, I think the trade has been through a massive up and down cycle over the last few years, especially with COVID. But I think at the moment there's definitely an uptick in the sport. I can see that there's interest again in bicycles, and more people are getting into riding, especially women. So I definitely there's a positivity in the industry now again, which hasn't been there for some time. So I think it's quite an exciting space to be in. And I think cycling as a sport is growing again. So I'm excited to see where it goes in the next few years, but I definitely think it's on the up again.
Good to hear. It's long may those days last. Any crazy tours, goals, Dolomite trips, anything exciting in the year ahead we need to
I think
reel you back here from having done to tell us the experience of?
Yeah, I think I'll do another trip like I do every year with my mate Tony in Europe. I'm not sure which, or he's actually planning a gravel trip this year on the salt roads in the Alps, which I think we've sort of put that together. I've invited some of my clients. We want a small group of guys just to test it out because it's the first gravel trip he'll be doing. But I think that will be exciting because that's on those roads that they used to transport salt. Literally salt. And also the military used to use them in World War II to get to certain vantage points. So these are pristine gravel roads, apparently. And you can see them when you ride on the road. If you look down on these climbs, you can see this network of gravel roads. And they go past these old forts that the military, Italian military used to use in World War II. And I think that's going to be an amazing experience.
You need a cameraman just shot.
I'm looking forward to it. So,
man, that sounds good.
Yeah. So
how many days will that be?
That will be, I think, 7 days.
Proper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So back up there is challenging, so that we have to navigate. Because on the road it's easy to have backup because you've got a following vehicle, but when you're off-road, the vehicle would have to meet you when you cross certain roads.
Got you.
So we'd have to see how that goes. And weather becomes tricky in the Alps.
You're going to have to come back off that one there.
As you know. Yeah. So weather changes. I mean, it can be... I've ridden the Tourmalet where it's 30 degrees at the bottom and on the other side it's raining and it's 5 degrees. So you can't carry enough clothing to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the trick with riding in Europe and in the Alps. You need backup because you need clothing. When you get to 2,700 meters at the top of the Stelvio, it's snowing, but at the bottom it's 15 degrees.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do to prepare that.
So you need backup. You can't go there on your own, just with a gilet in your pocket. You're gonna die.
You can, but
you're gonna cock at the top. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, please.
Yeah. So
when is that penciled in for?
That will be in August next year. End of August.
Please, if you can afterwards, we'd love to just make sure you have that camera rolling.
We'll have some footage from that. Yeah.
Yes, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, cycle tour. Another
one.
Another PV. She's going to pedal a bit more on this one.
Yeah, she's getting older now, so she has to get fitter. She's
get some power pedals on the back.
As small as she was when she was 11, it was a bit easier.
That's such an amazing journey, 11 to 17. Have you taken pictures?
Yeah, we've had photos of everyone. Yeah, she was quite small when she was 11, and now she's just taller than me now.
It'd be cool if you can put them next to each other. Yeah. We can use it as like a B-roll reference point. Yeah. Any dads that are
it's a great thing. I mean, whether you've got a son or a daughter, there's no greater experience. I mean,
then you've got to go find a tandem.
Yeah, the tandems are difficult now. But having always raced the cycle tour, I've got no desire to race it now. I just want to ride it with her.
That's such a...
So for as long as she wants to do it, I'll do it with her. But to race it now, I don't know if I have the nerve to race it anymore.
I
don't. A hectic event to race.
I don't have the nerve to race full stop.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. That Savage Tuesday thing for me is perfect.
Well, that is quite unnerving.
You get your 80...
It can be unnerving.
We were saying it the other day, again, touch wood. We've done however many. I was looking at my Chappie efforts. I think it's over 300. So we've done that loop hundreds of times. I've not one accident.
Yeah.
And you are going, you are burying,
especially in winter,
through there.
It's in the dark, going out of Bikepacking.
It's burying through there. And it's like, that's funny, isn't it? It's like but almost every wheel there you can trust and There are a lot of newcomers that come there, but it's I find that very interesting. And that group swells. I mean, at the moment, it's
the same with
easy to have
LPC.
50,
All
60,
these guys, they've been going. I've had the privilege of riding with all those groups on the Asian, but it's a great. I mean, the community. Like if you talk about Kotas now, this thing that has evolved out of
that I'm ready to talk about Kotas.
Out of that, I mean, Cape Town. I'm sure every city has got it, but Cape Town has got an amazing cycling community. Of young riders. You've got Pure Savage, LPC, you've got East City, you've got a massive group on a Friday. We've got our own shop group, which has been going for as long as the shop has been there. But it's an amazing, and we've all ridden with each other at some point. There's, I'll always say to my wife, I'm going for a ride, or just going on my own on Saturday morning, but you always end up riding with someone or bumping into someone and then riding to Murtuk and having coffee. So it's an amazing cycling community, Cape Town. And everyone sort of knows everyone, almost.
For better or worse.
For better or for worse. But it's an amazing space to be in Cape Town, I think.
It's and a lot of people, I mean, you'll hear it probably more than anyone, but I've seen with Brendan, who founded Savage, the amount of DMs he gets, people coming in, Brits, Germans, hi, I've heard about this ride.
Yeah.
Like just, he does.
I mean, even at the shop, if guys come to the shop and they look like they can ride and they ask us what is their group ride, we'll tell them, 5:45 at the garage there at the end of the road, rock up there. Let's see how it goes. Come back and tell me how it went afterwards.
We had a guy on, so we were obviously trying to rev this Kotas thing up as much as we could. And we had an informal street race, which I sent the invites out to the different captains of the teams, LPC, Coral, Jared from East City, obviously to Brendan, and then Jared Kizzer from Mother.
Yeah.
Send what you got type of thing, meet you, it's like, here's the route, no rules, going out there to kill each other type of thing. And we went, so what I've never been able to race, because who knows if and when it will come back, that Cape Cobra. Talk about racing up that
Military Hill.
Yeah. And Red Hill. And
that was
just like, so we landed up not going around there, but we went sort of Cape Point, boys Cape Point, and LPC. I love LPC. They are game for anything. Jared and them were away at Ryan to Wales, but Kotso came among some other guys. So we go out here, we go just over through Stonehurst and you're on Boys Drive. So it's like within 2 Ks you're on a magnificent road. You got Musenberg, whatever. By the intersection at the end of Boys Drive, the thing was blown to pieces. There was a few people left. We had, all the way through Fishhook, and Carl was like, no, wait, let's wait for some guys to come back. This is ridiculous. There's like 4 people left here. And it's not within minutes of that. And again, Smith's, he attacks going over, Sean goes, I go, that's it. There's 3 of us. And we finish at the top of Oakopsavac. So we go all the way around and then, man, like what an
amazing.
Like,
the groups
these are just
amazing.
people that historically, I couldn't believe when they were sitting back here, Brendan and Coral had never met.
Yeah.
However many years of this,
of riding together,
this banter, it's not a conflict. It's just good banter. They sat there and like shook hands, and Brendan actually said the other day, like, I'm really glad for this interaction that's developed. Trust the Diwali to integrate these people. Yeah. He's like, they're such like immense, because they are. It's such a flippin' good community.
No, it's an amazing. if I think of LPC, it's sort of more my age bracket, and I know those guys better than
you're
other
a
guys.
Pro, so you fit their model perfectly. Yeah. Do you have an S-Works?
No.
Oh.
So, I
obviously
know those guys. I know most of them in that group. An amazing bunch of guys. And this healthy rivalry between all the groups is amazing.
No, it's good. And they actually do all get on very well. And people are happy. Anyway, so the point of that long-winded story, there's a guy on a Tuesday, we invite East City and LPC to the Savage ride. So come join that group ride on the Tuesday, because they actually never do ride together. Yeah. There's a 5-minute gap between all of them. And you don't know who's going to come, who's not going to come. That leaves at 5:45. Jesus, there's Mother, there's ECC, there's LPC, all in their DC kits. Like it was, and there's this British guy. He's like, so what's going on here then? Like, just got on there at that maybe you had sent it.
Amazing.
I was like, how do I describe this to you? The whole Coates battle unfolding on a Savage Tuesday.
First time ever.
I was just like, bro, just like, hang on, you are in for the best, like, 45 minutes of your life. This is going to be so sick. And I wish I could have seen him afterwards.
Yeah.
What an epic thing to be a part of. John, I run out of questions to ask you, but it sincerely is a privilege to sit and this is like full circle for me. You have been an incredible ambassador for someone that didn't know you from a bar of soap that just came here wet behind the ears. I still am pretty useless as far as building a bike is concerned. There's very little capability, which I'm sure you picked up from the start. But you've always looked after Candace and I and anyone else I've ever sent there so flippin' well.
You've been a great addition to the Cape Town cycling community, I think. With what you're doing with this podcast, you've creating some interesting and great content. So you've been a good addition to our community, I think.
If I can tick the box and make you even just a little bit proud, I've done more than I could ever imagine.
That you have.
So thanks for coming. Thanks for taking the time. I know it's a bit of a drive.
Thank you.
And for doing what you're doing that side. I hope that you don't grow too many stores, that you can just double up where you are and many safe, happy miles ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for having me.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Thank you.